Hello there.
So from apparent armor for Kong, to Godzilla Jr., to Space Godzilla, to rumored zombie titans that are going to be killed and reanimated by Monarch. There's all kinds of crazy stuff right now leaked and rumored for Godzilla Kong Supernova. We don't really know what is true and what's not true, even though we can start to piece together some stuff based on set photos and things we have seen about what the plot is and some of these apparent rumors and leaks that could be true. We're going to discuss in this video some of the craziest leaks for Godzilla Kong Supernova so far. And like I said, this early on, it's kind of hard to determine what's real and what's not, but we're going to discuss it all in this video. I'm going to make it make sense for you guys. If you enjoy this kind of content, then check out my channel. I have a whole bunch more stuff like this, and let's get into it.
The Atomic Fair.
Okay, so the first leaks that started coming out for Godzilla Kong Supernova, at least the very first substantial one that really started gaining any traction, was a few months ago when the rumored so-called plot came out for Godzilla Kong Supernova, and it said a lot of interesting things that I feel like did kind of start to materialize a little bit in the marketing that we saw for the movie, but we still don't really know how real this stuff is and how real it isn't. But yeah, this is what this leak said here, and this, like I said, was back in March, but it said that the movie seems action heavy, has a somber tone throughout with serious implications involving the world's leaders appointing a new government agency to dismantle Monarch and take over Hollow Earth operations with the ultimate goal of collapsing it and effectively sealing the monsters away once and for all after the destructive events of GXK and the revelation of undocumented portals in the Hollow Earth. The antagonist this go-around is actually an enraged Godzilla and the government agency responsible for upsetting the balance of nature. Shimo returns for a cameo, but is subdued by the military in the Hollow Earth through new anti-titan weaponry and the use of mechanized zombie titans, including skull crawlers. This angers the great apes in the Hollow Earth who see the humans as tyrants no different than Scar King. Kong is especially angered by the use of reanimated skull crawlers, cameos of multiple titans battling the military before ultimately being destroyed and or subdued. Suka returns and serves to break up the darker tone with comedic reliefs moments lightly sprinkled throughout. Kong's arc shares similarities with Godzilla's, but where they diverge is Kong's struggles with his choice to continue coexisting with humanity, where Godzilla is seemingly at his wit's end and ready for war. Kong has an epic scene battling the military in a major city. Godzilla is surprise attacked by the military while sleeping in the Roman Colosseum and battles through the military and their zombie titans. Godzilla has settled into his new form. It's stated his dorsal plates have straightened out and hardened, and his bulk has returned. Mothra returns and has a brief battle with Godzilla and Kong as she chooses not to forsake humanity. It's through hers and Monarch / Jaya's intervention that they convince Kong and later Godzilla that humanity is still worth fighting for. The ending seems hopeful that humanity will work towards cleaning up the earth so they can coexist with it. And that's just, man, that is a massive leak. That was like a lot to read out. And you know, that is crazy, but man, that is like a massive leak, especially this early on in the movie production cycle and everything. I know they're already shooting right now, and this was back in March, so it's entirely possible. But what's crazy about this leak is that it doesn't say a lick of nothing about Space Godzilla or even like a cosmic villain, which we're getting pretty clear indications from the early trailers and teasers for the movie, including the title, that the cosmic villain is going to play a massive part in the movie. But what is interesting and does give a little bit of precedent to this leak was set photos that came out for Godzilla Kong Supernova showing Matthew Modine in some kind of mysterious government agency. It almost looked like G-Force, and then if you look at the teaser trailer, they're clearly either tracking Titans or tracking Titan events, or possibly even hunting them down with the 1-800 Monarch number where they want you to report any possible Titan sightings. It does kind of factor into some of the stuff that we have heard about this movie based on this leak here. And if this leak is true, then maybe this is just the first half of the movie before the cataclysmic world-ending threat being this cosmic villain arrives. And there was another little leak that I reported on like months and months ago about an apparent Godzilla Jr. egg or something that Godzilla is really pissed about that is glowing that Monarch is trying to contain or capture or something, and Godzilla's really mad about it. I don't know how true that is either. I feel like that's probably not true, but it's entirely possible. Now, the most recent leak that we have, a rumor for Godzilla Kong Supernova, came from somebody on 4chan on June 24th. This one sounds a little bit more credible than the last one, but everything is still up in the air right now. We really don't know what is going on yet, even though we can start to piece together some stuff, and I'll talk a little bit about it after I read this leak. It's a good friend of mine recently had the opportunity to appear as a background extra, portraying a scientist-type character. While on set, he managed to catch a glimpse of what appeared to be concept art, heard some plot details through behind-the-scenes chatter, and shared a few details with me. Yeah, that sounds like a load of shit, but I'm gonna keep going. Keep in mind, everything he told me is secondhand. I'm not a huge Godzilla fan myself, so I may not fully grasp the deeper implications of this information in relation to the franchise or previous MonsterVerse films. I respect what the guy is saying there, but it's kind of just sounds like a setup for him to try to pretend he doesn't know what he's talking about, even though secretly he's going to reference some pretty specific stuff here in a minute. In the scene he participated in, he played a scientist evacuating a high-security facility under attack by a giant monster. Other scientists were on high-tech computer monitors, scrambling to coordinate with their other global outposts, as similar incidents appeared to be happening worldwide. There was talk of lost communication with a moon base. Some of the information he picked up may have been distorted through games of telephone or possibly even intentional misinformation circulated among the cast and crew, but there was a talk of supernova forms being planned for a few fan favorite monsters, including Godzilla, Mothra, and a smaller, goofy-looking lizard creature, which was described as looking like a midget version of Godzilla, as it went from crawling on four legs to awkwardly waddling upright on two and even sporting a blue laser beam of its own. He also briefly saw blueprints for what looked like a giant robot. While he didn't get a good look, he said it had a more humanoid build, and he heard rumors that its body could separate and attach to King Kong. Not sure how that's supposed to work. Towards the end of the shooting, he heard rumors about the film taking the monsters to space and was told Godzilla would battle on the moon. The main villain was kept top secret. So let me connect this to that other leak here, because if this is true, we're just going to assume it's true, or pretend it's true for the sake of argument's sake here. The main villain being kept top secret would make perfect sense onto why the last leak was much more vague on this cosmic villain coming to the film. It also would make a lot of sense here because he calls him King Kong, which we know in the MonsterVerse he's just called Kong, or maybe now he's called King Kong because he's ruling over the apes. But I don't know. It does kind of seem like this guy doesn't know that much about Godzilla and the MonsterVerse and stuff, even him calling them monsters instead of titans. But like I said, this could all be made up. This could all just be a whole bunch of bullshit. But nonetheless, that's what we have right now for this movie. We also know in Godzilla Kong the New Empire's novelization, though, that the world governments were getting very fed up with all of the Titan events, and they wanted to find a way to control them. So they were definitely seeming to seed ideas of stuff that would be expanded on in the Supernova sequel. So comment down below, guys. Let me know what you think about all this stuff. This is where we are at with all of the rumors for Godzilla Kong Supernova as we approach the film and more stuff comes out. Of course, I'm going to be covering it on this channel, so subscribe if you enjoy that stuff. And for this video, that is all I got, guys. So until the next one, be safe and stay well. Bye-bye.